Hello, fellow cyborgs. Today, I would like to talk to you about my return to Victober. So you may or may not have noticed that last year I did not participate in Victober, and that will have been the first year in 4 years that I did not participate in Victober, because I believe I participated in the inaugural year, which was 2017. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, I know I participated in 2017, it just was that the inaugural year for Victober or not. So today I thought I'm going to be looking at my phone. You're just going to have to unfortunately deal with it. I thought it would be fun to go through my past years of Victober TBRs and what I actually read, abbreviated. You can watch those videos, or I can just sum them up for you here. And then we will talk about why I didn't participate in 2021 time, and why I'm participating now. Okay, so I made a listy list. Rewatched my old videos. I was cute in some of them, and in some of them it was like, you're doing your best. So in 2017, I had 4 books on my Victober TBR, which were Villette by Charlotte Bronte, Dombey and Son by Charles Dickens, The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, who is an American, but whatever. And then I had a collection of poetry called The Romantics and Victorians. And I ended up reading 3 out of the 4. And I also read a 4th thing that was not initially on the TBR. So I did not read The Romantics and Victorians at all, and I ended up unhauling that poetry collection unread. I gave 2 stars to The Turn of the Screw, I gave 4 stars to Dombey and Son, and I gave a preemptive 5 stars to Villette, which I have talked about in another video called What's My Deal with Charlotte Bronte. So I actually enjoyed Villette at a 3-star level that year. And then the 4th new addition that I added on was I read through my collected or complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. I read through some of them, and I ended up enjoying that at about a 2-star level as well. So 2017 was a pretty good year. I had 2 strong reads, 2 dud reads, but the 2 dud reads were short. They were short. And I never did read that Romantics and Victorians collection. So 2017 was a pretty good year. Then 2018 was also a pretty good year. I had 4 initial books on my TBR, which was Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, Daniel Deronda by George Eliot, and In a Glass Darkly by J. Sheridan Le Fanu. I ended up attempting all 4 of those. Far from the Madding Crowd received 3 stars from me. The Tenant of Wildfell Hall received 3 stars from me as well. Daniel Deronda, I DNF'd with the intention of reading it the following year. Never did. And In a Glass Darkly, I read half of the stories with the intention to finish the other half later. I also added on 2 books that I did read. I read Jane Eyre again, and I gave that 5 stars, as I always do. And I read a couple works of nonfiction by Wilde in this bind-up of the best works of Oscar Wilde that I had, which was a millstone around my neck for many a month. And I hated that nonfiction. I gave those pieces of nonfiction 1 star. So again, I pretty much read 3 out of the 4 books that I said I would read, but the 4th one I ended up DNFing permanently. And then Jane Eyre was a good one. So that was a productive month, and I kept on track for the most part. So that was a pretty successful year. 2019 was a little bit more ambitious. I wanted to finally finish reading In a Glass Darkly because I had not read that work by J. Sheridan Le Fanu in the meantime. I also wanted to read Bleak House by Charles Dickens. I wanted to read Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell. Wuthering Heights, a reread by Emily Bronte. Sylvia's Lovers, also by Elizabeth Gaskell. The Old Nurse's Story, also by Elizabeth Gaskell. My voice does not need to keep going up high. And He Knew He Was Right by Anthony Trollope. This ended up being the most successful month. Not with sticking to my TBR, because we don't roll like that on this channel, but with the star ratings. So I ended up DNFing the rest of In a Glass Darkly. It was not capturing my attention, and I think I gave that like a 2-star DNF rating on Goodreads. Bleak House I ended up finishing right before Victober started, but I'm gonna count this anyway. But I gave Bleak House 4 stars. It's really good. I also super enjoyed Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell, and I gave that 4 stars. And then my reread with Wuthering Heights was a 4-star reread again. So those were great. DNF Sylvia's Lovers and said I would read it during a not Victober month. I didn't do that. I don't know if I read The Old Nurse's Story that month. I know I read it. I believe I gave it 3 stars. It's 3 stars in my head. I didn't talk about it in my wrap-up. And then He Knew He Was Right by Anthony Trollope. I didn't end up finishing that in Victober, but I did end up finishing it, and it was a 3-star read. So not too bad. But then I read 2 books that weren't on my TBR. The first one being Dr. Wardle's School by Anthony Trollope, and I gave that 4 stars. It's so good. Very, very good. And then I also snuck in reading The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy, and that was a 4-star read, which was awesome. So I had 5 4 stars, 1 3-star that I read later, and then 1 DNF. So that is a lot of 4-star books all in like a little over a month, because I finished Bleak House a little early and He Knew He Was Right a little late. That was a really good year. I was set up for success. It was going to be excellent. And then 2020 happened. So this was the first Victober year post-pandemic, because wee little adorable Amanda in 2019 did not know what was coming for her in December of 2019 and later in March when the shutdown happened. So 2020, we are pandemic. No one's back at work. I'm not anyway. And what am I interested in? Houseplants. That is all that I want to be doing all day long, is looking for new houseplants to buy, houseplant videos to watch, and then reading books about houseplants. But I persevered. We had a Victober TBR. I wanted to read Evelina, which is not Victorian. That's by Frances Burney. I wanted to read The Life of Charlotte Bronte by Miss Elizabeth Gaskell. I wanted to read The Half-Sisters by Geraldine Dewsbury. I wanted to reread Shirley by Charlotte Bronte as the group read along. I wanted to read Sylvia's Lovers for sure this time. For reals, that one's by Elizabeth Gaskell. I finally wanted to get to Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy because I have an audiobook narrated by Alan Rickman. And then if I so chose, I wanted to attempt an autobiography by Anthony Trollope. But like I said, this was the year where plants were the only thing I wanted to be doing. So I quickly DNF'd Evelina. I quickly DNF'd The Life of Charlotte Bronte. I read The Half-Sisters, and I think it took me practically all month, and it was a 3-star read. It was very disappointing in my opinion. I never did finish rereading Shirley. I ran out of time. I did not make it farther in Sylvia's Lovers than I had the year before. I reread the first 10 chapters and I stopped after chapter 10 and I did not pick it up after that. I tried listening to Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy and I could not keep anything straight, so that wasn't going to happen. And I did not even attempt an autobiography by Anthony Trollope. So I had 7 books on my TBR. I read 1. And it was a 3-star read. I had 2 DNFs and I read one of them, and that one was a 3-star read. The rest of them, I still haven't finished or even started. So I psyched myself up after my failure to enjoy Victober in 2020. And in 2021, I participated in Witchathon and I participated in Blackoweenathon, and I had a very spooky autumn last year and I distanced myself from Victorian literature. And even though there was only 1 year in Victober where I had an exceptional reading experience, every time Victober announcements come out, I am just giddy as a schoolboy. And I watch all the things and I rewatch all the things, and it just makes me feel so cozy and wonderful and lovely. And I think at this point with my Victober reading, I am really not that interested in finding new things so much as getting to know the novels and authors that I know I enjoy even better than I knew them before. And I think that'll be the best way for me to approach Victober moving forward, is not to necessarily feel like I need to be branching out, I need to be reading niche things, I need to be reading new things, because there's a whole world of Victorian reads out there. It's definitely available and open to me if I would like to do that, but I don't have to feel pressure to do that. And I just want to reread things every Victober so that I can become even more in love with the books that I already really enjoyed. Then you know what? That's a really good use of my October, isn't it? So that is my Victober journey. Please let me know in the comments down below how your Victobers have gone overall. Am I the only one who finds Victober to have a lot of pressure attached and not a lot of payoff most of the time? Do you read pretty much only popular authors, or are you getting into authors that places like Barnes & Noble aren't going to carry because they're out of print? Just blather at me in the comments however you would like to. And I hope this was interesting, and I am very excited to be returning to beloved Victober in this year of 2022. And I am hoping that this year is going to be a very enjoyable one. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, enjoy some Victorian literature and continue to be lovely. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, try